Hello everyone. Today I'm going to explain the chapter The Adventures of Toto by Ruskin Bond. A 20th century writer, Ruskin Bond, was born on 19th May 1934. He is an Indian author of British descent. His parents belong to Britain. He is one of India's most loved children's writers. He wrote about children. He has been awarded the Sahitya Academy Award, Padma Shri, and Padma Bhushan. Along with so many awards, he got these awards. He has written several novels, over 500 short stories, various essays, poems, anthologies, and books for children. So he was a prolific writer. He is one of the best loved and most admired chroniclers of contemporary India. The chapter is about the experience of an animal lover person having a monkey as a pet. We will come to know that the grandfather of the narrator was fond of animals and he was having a monkey as a pet. It shows the attraction of people for having animals. The chapter shows that people are attracted towards animals and they want to keep animals as their pets. And then the problems that can come in the way are described in this chapter. Though we are attracted to have animals as pets, but we do not know the problems that come in the way. It is about the behavior and qualities of animals. The chapter tells about the behavior, tells about the qualities of animals, their intelligence. Animals are intelligent, their mischievousness, they are mischievous, their understanding, they have got good understanding, even so many qualities they have that resemble the qualities of human beings. The chapter shows the patience and skills required to train animals. In order to train animals, in order to have animals, we require a lot of training, a lot of patience, a lot of skill, and a lot of labor. Let us know what the story is. Let's have an overview of the story. The writer's grandfather bought a monkey, and the name of the monkey is Toto. And he bought it from a Tonga driver and for the sum of 5 rupees. So he bought that monkey for 5 rupees. The monkey was kept secretly. Why? Because the grandmother did not like animals, so the monkey was kept secretly in a cupboard. Being mischievous, Monkey was very mischievous. It caused havoc in the room. It caused destruction in the room. It just ripped off the plaster, ripped off the wallpaper. It just wrenched the peg there. So it had created a lot of destruction there in the room. The next day, when he was kept in the servant's room along with other animals, he did not let them sleep all night. And then the grandfather thought to keep that animal, to keep Toto with other animals, but Toto did not let them sleep at all. And in this chapter, it happens that the grandfather had to move to Saharanpur. He had to go to Saharanpur and he carried that monkey to Saharanpur with him in a strong canvas bag. And the grandfather made a strong canvas bag for the monkey to be kept. because he knew that the monkey was very mischievous and he could create mischief there. That's why he put him into that canvas bag. At the railway station, it attracted the attention of passengers. At the railway station, the monkey, because he was there in the canvas bag which was chained from above, so whenever the monkey jumped, it rolled to side, the bag was rolling and jumping, and this created the attention, or this diverted the attention of the passengers towards the bag. Considering the monkey as dog, and when grandfather was taking ticket, so the ticket collector thought that the monkey was a dog, and he forced grandfather to buy a ticket for 3 rupees, and he forced grandfather that the grandfather would have to buy 2 tickets for the price of 3 rupees. Then it is told how Toto, when kept in the stable, injured the donkey Nana, and after coming from Saharanpur, the grandfather decided to put Toto in the stable, and he put Toto in the stable with Nana, and Nana was the name of donkey. Toto enjoyed bathing in warm during the winter season. So Toto injured Nana there in that stable, and then the writer goes on to talk about the bathing habits of Toto. He would bathe like human beings, and he enjoyed bathing in winter season with cold outside and warm water he would enjoy. Once he almost boiled himself in a kettle of boiling water, and the writer said that once the monkey almost boiled himself because he sat there into or in the kettle of boiling water. Earlier, the water was not so hot, that's why it was lukewarm, and he was enjoying the water. But when the water started to boil, outside there was cold, inside the pot there was hot, so he did not know what to do. So he almost boiled himself. Once at mealtime, and then the writer told one more incident, and the incident that made grandfather thought that he should not keep the monkey at home. So once at mealtime, it created nuisance. It disturbed everyone, and it ate the pulao. There was a plate of pulao at mealtime on the table, and the monkey ate that pulao. It also created disturbance and broke the plate. And in order to show his spite, he broke the plate of pulao. Then the grandfather realized that it was not an animal they could keep at home, because he knew that Toto was creating a lot of destruction there in the house. Finally, grandfather sold Toto back to the Tonga driver, and now only for 3 rupees. He bought it for a sum of 5 rupees and sold it only for 3 rupees. The Adventure of Toto. Now we shall read the whole chapter. Grandfather bought Toto from a Tonga driver for the sum of 5 rupees. He bought it for 5 rupees from the Tonga driver. The Tonga driver used to keep, the Tonga driver would keep the little red monkey tied to a feeding trough, and the monkey looked so out of place there that grandfather decided he would add the little fellow to his private zoo. So the grandfather was an animal loving person. He had a private zoo of himself, and when he saw the monkey tied to the feeding trough, the container for animals to eat, the monkey was tied to that container, and the monkey was looking out of place. It was looking inappropriate. That's why grandfather decided to buy monkey. He had pity on that monkey. Toto was a pretty monkey. Now grandfather is going to describe the beauty of Toto. It was pretty monkey, beautiful, good looking, and it had got bright eyes, and his eyes shone with mischief, and there was mischief there in his eyes. There was naughtiness beneath deep set eyebrows. His eyebrows were set deep, and his teeth, which were pearly white, his teeth were white as pearls, were very often displayed, and he showed his teeth very often in a smile. And when he showed his teeth in a smile, or when he smiled, his smile could frighten, could terrify the life out of elderly Anglo Indian ladies. The, the writer says that whenever Toto smiled, Toto could terrify any Indian ladies that belonged to Britain, Anglo Indian ladies. But his hands, now he's talking about his hands, they looked like dried up, as though they had been pickled, as though they had been preserved in vinegar in the sun for many years. So his hands were lean and thin and dried, yet his fingers were quick and wicked. His fingers were nimble, his fingers were quick and wicked, playful, mischievous, and his tail, while adding to his good looks, his tail adds to his good looks. For grandfather, the monkey was really beautiful. So the monkey's tail adds to the beauty of the monkey. Grandfather believed a tail would add to anyone's good looks. Grandfather believed, because he was an animal lover, that's why he thought that the tail always increased the beauty of anyone. Also served, and the tail served as a third hand. We all know that monkeys use their tails as their third hand. He could use it to hang from a branch. He could hang with the help of the tail from a branch, and it was capable of scooping up, of lifting, taking quickly any delicacy. The monkey could take up, it could lift any delicacy with the help of his tail that might be out of his reach of his hands. So the tail was working as the third hand of the monkey. So here in this paragraph, he told about the physical beauty of the monkey and the naughty behavior of that. Grandmother always fussed. She always worried. She always fretted when grandfather brought home some new bird or animal. She did not like whenever grandfather would bring any animal or bird. So it was decided. So both grandfather and the writer decided that the presence of Toto should be kept a secret. They would not tell about the presence of Toto to the grandmother until she was in a particularly specially good mood, and they decided to keep the presence of Toto secret there until the grandmother is in a good mood and they would tell her about the presence of Toto. Grandfather and I put him away in a little closet, so they decided to put that monkey in a little cabinet, in a little cupboard opening into my bedroom wall, where he was tied securely, and he was tied there safely, or so we thought. The writers said that they thought that they had tied that monkey safely to a peg they had tied to a spike stuck to the wall, fastened into the wall. So they had fastened it to a peg. A few hours later, when grandfather and I came back to release Toto, now after some hours, they decided to release Toto. We found that the walls, which had been covered with some ornamental paper chosen by grandfather, now stood out as naked brick and plaster. The peg in the wall had been wrenched from its socket, socket, and my school blazer, which had been hanging there, was in shreds. Now, the writer talks about the destruction, the havoc created by Toto. He tore the wallpapers that were chosen by the grandfather, brought by the grandfather there, and he took out the plaster, and the brick was visible there. Toto tried to pull out peg from its socket, and the school blazer of the writer was also torn to pieces. So this was the destruction created by the monkey. I wondered, he was surprised what grandmother would say. He was surprised what grandmother would say when she would know about the destruction created by the monkey. But grandfather didn't worry. He loved animals. He seemed pleased, and grandfather was happy, in fact, with Toto's performance. When he saw the performance of Toto, grandfather was really happy. And what grandfather told? He told that he was clever, intelligent. He told that if the monkey was given time, the grandfather was sure the monkey could have tied the torn pieces of your blazer into a rope and made his escape from the window. Grandfather told that if the monkey was given good training, the monkey was given some time, the monkey was so intelligent that he could tear the blazer of the writer and try to knot the pieces of the blazer and make a rope of the torn pieces and try to escape, try to get away from the house through the window. So here the grandfather was telling about the intelligence of Toto. His presence in the house still a secret. Still, they had not told about Toto to the grandmother. Toto was now transferred. He was shifted to a big cage in the servants' quarters where a number of grandfather's pets lived very sociably together. A tortoise, a pair of rabbits, a tame squirrel, and for a while my pet goat. So now the writer says about the animals the grandfather's zoo contained. In the zoo of grandfather, a tortoise was there, rabbits, squirrel, and a goat was there in the servants' quarters. They would live together sociably, and they decided, grandfather and the writer decided to put Toto there among all those animals. But the monkey wouldn't allow any of his companions to sleep at night. But he created disturbance there in servants' quarters and did not let other animals sleep. So, grandfather, who had to leave Dehradun next day to collect his pension in Saharanpur. So, next day, grandfather had to go to Saharanpur and he decided to take the monkey along with him because he could not leave the monkey with those other creatures he did not let sleep in peace. Unfortunately, I could not accompany grandfather on the trip. The writer could not go there with the grandfather to Saharanpur, but he told me about it afterwards. But the grandfather told the narrator what happened there when he went there to Saharanpur. A big black canvas kit bag was provided for Toto. Now, this was the preparation that they had done to carry Toto there to Saharanpur. So, they made a canvas kit bag provided for Toto. This with some straw at the bottom, and they had put some straw at the bottom of that bag, became his new abode, and this was his new house, a new living place. When the bag was closed, there was no escape because it was made of hard cloth. So when it was closed, the monkey could not escape, could not run away. Toto could not get his hands through the opening, and the canvas was too strong for him to bite his way through. He could not take his hands out of that bag, and he could not bite that bag also. His efforts to get out only had the effect of making the bag roll about on the floor or occasionally jump into the air. So, whenever he tried to get out, whenever he put efforts to get out of that canvas bag, it seemed as if the bag was rolling because he rolled, so the bag rolled there about floor, and occasionally at some times the bag seemed to jump because the monkey started jumping from within the bag into the air. An exhibition that attracted, and this exhibition, this show attracted the onlookers there at the platform. This show attracted the curious crowd. Curious, they were really eager to know what was there in the bag. When the onlookers, when all the passengers on the Dehradun railway platform saw the bag, they were really attracted. They were curious. They wanted to know what was there in that bag. Toto remained in the bag as far as Saharanpur. The grandfather did not put him out. But while grandfather was producing his ticket at the railway turnstile, a gate in which only one person could go through, and it turns while one goes. So when the grandfather was taking out and showing his ticket to the ticket collector, Toto suddenly poked his head out. He put his head out suddenly of the bag and gave the ticket collector a wide grin. And he gave a wide grin, and Toto laughed at the ticket collector, showing his teeth. The poor man, the ticket collector was taken aback. He was shocked. He was surprised because he had not seen any monkey in any bag before. But with great presence of mind, the ticket collector showed the presence of mind, and much to grandfather's annoyance. And what the ticket collector did after that, it annoyed the grandfather. It irritated the grandfather. He said, what he did, he said, "Sir, you have a dog with you, you'll have to pay for it accordingly." So the ticket collector thought that it was a dog, and he asked for the payment of the monkey, which he considered as a dog according to the rule. According to the rule. In vain did grandfather take Toto out. Now, what grandfather did? He took Toto out of the bag. He tried to prove that monkey did not qualify as a dog. The grandfather put Toto out of the bag. The grandfather showed monkey to the ticket collector that it was not a dog, or the monkey was not even a quadruped. It was not even an animal having four legs. But all the attempts of the grandfather proved in vain, useless. The ticket collector was not going to listen to what the grandfather was saying. Toto was classified a dog by the ticket collector. He classified it a dog. He told it a dog. He put the monkey to a class of a dog, and 3 rupees was the sum handed over as his fare, and the grandfather had to give 3 rupees there to the ticket collector as the fare of the monkey. Then grandfather, just to get his own back, took from his pocket our pet toys and said, "What must I pay for this, since you charge for all animals?" Now the grandfather was angry. That's why he took out the tortoise from his pocket and showed it to the ticket collector, and asked what fare would he take of that creature, of the tortoise. The ticket collector looked closely at the tortoise. He also had not seen tortoise before. That's why he tried to prod it, he tried to poke it with his fingers, gave grandfather a pleased and triumphant look, and then he looked at the grandfather victoriously as if he had won, and said, "No charge." And he said that he would not take any charge because it was not a dog. That's why. So, this was the incident that happened there when grandfather went to Saharanpur. When Toto was finally accepted by grandmother, he was given a comfortable home in the stable. Now, they told about the presence of Toto to the grandmother, and now they put it in the stable, where into the stable where he had for a companion the family donkey named Nana. And now the monkey was put beside a donkey named Nana. On Toto's first night in the stable, it was Toto's first night in the stable, grandfather paid him a visit. That's why grandfather decided to go to the monkey, and he decided to look for the monkey whether he was comfortable or not. And what he saw there, grandfather wanted to see if the monkey was comfortable or not. To his surprise, he found, and when the grandfather went there, he was surprised when he saw that Nana, the donkey, without apparent cause, without clear cause, or without any cause, pulling at her halter. Nana, the donkey, was pulling at the rope and trying to keep her head as far as possible from a bundle of hay. When the grandfather entered the stable, he saw that the donkey had stretched itself and it is very far, or the donkey was very far from the bundle of hay. The grandfather could not know the reason for this action by the donkey. Grandfather gave Nana a slap. Grandfather hit Nana across his haunches, across his feet, and she jerked. And then the donkey gave a jerk. It made some movements, dragging Toto with her. And when the donkey made some movements, grandfather saw that the monk that Toto was also moving with the donkey. He had fastened on to her long ears with his sharp little teeth. And then the grandfather knew the real reason for the uncomfort feeling, for the uncomfortable feeling of Nana. It was because the monkey had fastened, the monkey had pricked the long ears of the donkey with his sharp teeth. It means the monkey had bit Nana and it had stuck its teeth to the ears of Nana. Toto and Nana never became friends. After that incident, both of them did not become friends ever. A great treat for Toto during cold winter evenings was the large bowl of warm water given him by grandmother for his bath. Now, the writer goes on to say that the monkey he enjoyed bathing there with warm water in winter season. He would cunningly test, and now he goes on to say, and now he says in this paragraph how the monkey would take a bath. So this is how human beings would take a bath. He would cunningly test the temperature. He would test the temperature with his hand, then gradually, then slowly he would step into the bathtub. First one foot, then the other foot he would put into the bath until he was into the water up to his neck. And then he just was there in the water up to his neck. Once comfortable, and when he is comfortable there in that bathtub, he would take the soap in the hands or feet and rub himself all over, as humans do. When the water became cold, and after the water was cold, he would get out and run as quickly as he could to the kitchen fire, and then he would run out in order to warm himself near kitchen fire, in order to dry himself, in order to warm himself, because it was cold outside. If anyone laughed at him during this performance, if anyone would laugh at him making fun of the monkey, Toto's feeling would be hurt. He would get hurt, and he would refuse, and he would decline to go on with his bath, and then he would not go to bathe. One day, Toto nearly succeeded in boiling himself alive. Now he tells the incident when the monkey nearly burnt himself alive, nearly boiled himself alive. A large kitchen kettle had been left on the fire to boil for tea. There was a kettle that was put on fire in which water was to boil for tea, and Toto, finding himself with nothing better to do, decided to remove the lid. And then Toto came and he removed the lid. Still, the kettle was not warm. Finding the water just warm, it was not much warm, it was still cold, not so hot, enough for a bath. He got in. When he found that the water was lukewarm, he got in with his head sticking out, and his head was out of the kettle, and the body was in the kettle from the open kettle. This was just fine for a while because still the water was not much hot and the fire was burning. Toto did not know about that. The fire was burning. So for some time it was comfortable for the monkey until the water began to boil. And now the water started to boil. Toto then raised himself a little. Then Toto would raise himself from out of the kettle, but finding it cold outside, but outside there was cold, and then he would sit down again there in the kettle. He continued hopping up, he continued jumping like that, up and down. For some time he continued to jump up and down because he could not get out of that kettle. Outside it was cold, and in the kettle it was hot water, so he continued to jump up and down until grandmother arrived. Then grandmother came and hauled him and dragged him half boiled. He was half boiled out of the kettle. She took the monkey out of the kettle. If there is a part of the brain especially devoted to mischief, now in this paragraph, the writer tells that the monkey was really mischievous. He was very much mischievous. If there is any part in our brain that is devoted to mischief, that part was largely developed in Toto, and that part is developed in Toto. It means he was too much mischievous. He was always tearing things to pieces. He would tear things. Whenever one of my aunts came near him, he made every effort, he would make every attempt to get hold of her dress, to get hold of anyone's dress whoever would come there to the house and tear a hole in it. And the monkey tried to make a hole in the dress that the ants of the writer would wear. One day at lunchtime, a large dish of pulao stood in the center of the dining table. One day, onto the dining table, there was a plate of pulao eatable. We entered the room to find Toto, and when the family members entered the room, they found Toto stuffing himself with rice. Toto was putting rice into his mouth, putting pulao into his mouth. My grandmother screamed. The grandmother got afraid. She was really angry and she shouted. And Toto threw a plate at her. And out of irritation, Toto also threw a plate at the grandmother. Then one of my aunts rushed forward. One of the aunts of the narrator, she came forward towards the monkey and received a glass of water in the face, and the monkey threw a glass of water onto the face of the aunt. When grandfather arrived, and then grandfather came, hearing the screams of the grandmother, Toto picked up the dish of pulao and made his exit, and he went away through a window. He went away through a window. We found him in the branches of the jackfruit tree. There was a jackfruit tree growing in the house of the narrator, and Toto made his exit through the window and went there onto the tree, jackfruit tree. The dish still in his arms, still he was holding the dish. He remained there all afternoon. He remained sitting onto that tree, eating slowly through the rice. He continued to eat rice. He was determined. He had made up his mind on finishing every grain. He wanted to finish every grain of that dish of the pulao, and then, in order to spite grandmother, in order to upset, in order to annoy grandmother, who had screamed at him, because grandmother had screamed at the monkey, and the monkey did not like that. That's why, in order to irritate the grandmother, he threw the dish down. He threw down the plate from the tree and chattered, and then he spoke inaudibly. He spoke at a very high pitch. With delight, he was very happy when it broke, when the plate broke into 100 pieces. The monkey was really very happy. Obviously, now it was clearly, Toto was not the sort of pet. Toto was not the kind of pet we could keep for long. Now, the grandfather realized that Toto was not such type of animal that he could have as a pet. Even grandfather who was an animal lover, he also realized that we were not well to do. They were not very rich. And they could also not afford the frequent loss of dishes, clothes, curtains, and wallpaper. They could not afford the losses made by, or the destruction made by the monkey. He would destroy dishes, he would tear clothes and curtains and wallpaper. So they could not afford such losses, and those losses are frequent. They are very often made by the monkey. So, grandfather found the Tonga driver. He searched the Tonga driver, he found him and sold Toto back to him, and he sold the monkey back to the Tonga driver, and he sold it only for 3 rupees. He bought it for 5 rupees and sold it for 3 rupees. So it was the chapter. It was really an interesting chapter, and it teaches a lot of things to us. So let us know what we have learned from this chapter, or what message we have got from it. The moral of the chapter is that we should not take animals away from their natural environment. The chapter advocates, the chapter champions. It tells that we should not take animals away from their natural environment. It is not good because monkeys are really naughty. They are mischievous, and they are mischievous because of their habitat that they had to live. If they are to put in their natural habitat, they are comfortable in that. By taking them away, by taking animals away from their natural habitat, from their natural environment, if we take them out, we put their lives in danger. If we take out animals of their natural habitat, their lives are in danger. It also teaches us that keeping animals as pets requires much labor. It requires much attention. It requires much caution on the part of the owner. If anyone has to keep an animal as pet, the person will have to do a lot of things. He had to take training of that. He had to know about the likings, dislikings of animals. He had to know about what is good for the animal and what is not good. So it requires a lot of attention, a lot of caution in order to have any animal as a pet. The chapter gives a message that we should not be cruel towards animals, and this is shown by the character of the grandfather. He was really an animal lover, and when he saw the monkey there with the Tonga driver, he felt pity onto the monkey, and that's why he brought the monkey home. We should love animals and treat them with respect. The moral of the chapter is that we should not be cruel towards animals. We should love them. We should treat them with respect. We should try to keep them in their natural habitat. So, thank you for watching the video patiently. I hope you have understood the topic well. So, like and share the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button. See you with a new video on a new topic. Till then, bye.